Why culture fit is a failed idea. Culture fit has been all the rage for the last few years. So many people talk about how important culture fit is in determining their hiring and firing decisions. But does culture fit even work? The answer is no. In order to understand why culture fit is a failed idea, we need to understand culture, and then we need to understand a better way of going about finding the right employees for your organization. Culture fit excludes people from diverse backgrounds, and here's how. Let's say I'm holding interviews for a position on my team, and I see two candidates, one that went to the University of Wisconsin and one that went to the University of Arizona. Well, when I see the candidate from the University of Wisconsin, I get excited because that's my alma mater. And so then my tendency would be to hire them because I feel like we'll have more in common, we will like each other, and we have the same background. That's what hiring for culture fit is like. You're looking for people who are like you, and that reduces diversity in the workforce. And so many studies have shown that diversity actually increases profits for organizations. So it is critical that you have diversity as part of your organizational strategy. By the end of this video, you're going to see exactly how outdated culture fit is and what you can do instead. Think of the 5 people that you trust the most in this world, and they cannot be your family. Anyone that's outside of your family that you trust the most, think of your top 5 people. For most people, that list is 5 people who have a very similar background to you. We tend to trust people who are like us, who have shared experiences and shared backgrounds. And so that's something that we need to actively combat when we're creating an equitable and diverse workforce. The average CEO in America is a white male in their 50s and is actually quite tall. The reason is because many people hold an unconscious bias that people who are tall, white, and male are better leaders. And that's just not true. Not only that, there are more men in the workplace than women. And historically, when you hire for culture fit, you tend to see the dominant demographic growing in an organization. And that's why we have to actively embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion in order to combat that. And canceling culture fit is part of that strategy. There's also benefits to your organization for doing so. The Harvard Business Review shared research that there is 19% more innovation in diverse groups, another reason not to hire for culture fit. When you're surrounded by people who think and act like you're not getting the diversity of thought that sparks creative and new ideas. Have you had any experience with this? If so, write a comment below and share your story. Here's one. Decades ago, in the investment banking industry, they used to have something called the airplane test. If they were down to a couple candidates and they couldn't decide between the 2 of them, they would put them through the airplane test. And the airplane test was, which candidate would you want to be stuck sitting next to in a 4-hour plane ride? That was how they determined who got hired. Little wonder that the investment banking industry had a lot of white males in it. Because it's easier to chat for 4 hours with someone that has common interests. We both like playing golf, and we're both into cars. We'll have plenty to talk about on the plane. But when we hire for culture fit like that, we exclude so much potential. And you can unleash the power of your culture to inspire businesses and people to reach their full potential if you're intentional about it. The research backs this up. McKinsey says that diverse teams have on average 36% higher profitability, and Deloitte showed that diverse companies have 2.3 times more cash flow per employee than non-diverse companies. So there's value here. And it's more than just financial value. I led research on diversity in the workplace and its effects on culture, and found that when there are more women filling leadership roles in an organization, companies score higher on culture strength. And we know that culture drives results as well. Not only did all employees feel like they had more psychological safety in the organization, but they took more ownership of the work that they were doing, and there was more clarity of results. So your organization needs to treat diversity, equity, and inclusion as a business imperative, not just a nice to have. And it needs to be real. What gets measured gets done, so it cannot just be performative. There are many things that you can do in the recruiting process to create a more diverse and inclusive organization, and getting rid of the old culture fit trick is one of them. But is there a better way? And the answer is yes. The better way is, instead of hiring for culture fit, hire for enculturability. Enculturability is the ability to adapt to the new culture. We all bring a diverse background and values to the workplace, but what you can hire for is the ability to adapt to a changing environment. Your culture is not static. It evolves with time and with leadership. As the organization grows, so too does the culture. And so you want to hire employees who, regardless of their own personal cultural background, are able to adapt to different changing environments. So that means in the interview process, not asking whether or not you want to have a beer with this person, but instead asking if this person has what it takes to evolve with the organization, to grow and adapt as times change and the organization changes. So I have a free gift for you, and it's all about culture. Not only does it share our research on how to create a workplace culture that gets results, but it has tools and a guide on what you can do to activate culture starting right now. So go to gift.culture.io, or you can click on the link in the description below to get your free gift.